So the last point I want to talk about from chapter 4 is how do you improve your perceptual abilities? And the first step is being mindful. We talked about this on the very first day of class. It takes work to be mindful. It takes energy. But if you're really putting good thought and being aware of yourself and your thought process, your perceptual abilities will improve. So know yourself and know your own biases. Ask yourself, am I stereotyping? Am I looking at this from a positive bias or a negative bias? Am I considering that there could be both internal or external factors that have created this situation? Focus on the other person's characteristics. Look at gender. Look at cultural differences. Unfortunately, a lot of us have a gender bias. Your book talks about an example of sexual harassment. If the victim is male versus the victim being female, we look upon that differently. It shouldn't be that way, but we do. Do we understand another culture, or do we assume that we understand? Remember the example I gave in class about the representative from Toyota who was Japanese. He did not look the congressperson in the eye. The congressperson thought he was being disrespectful, or in actuality, he was being respectful. And consider the communication context. Where and when are you hearing this information? Are you getting this information first thing in the morning and you're not a morning person? Well, you might not receive it correctly, or you might interpret it more in a negative bias. Did you only hear part of a conversation and you're making assumptions? Or was it a rumor that someone else told you? This could all lead to misperceptions. So what you need to do is check your perceptions. Separate interpretations from facts. Interpretation is what we infer when we see something. A fact is something we could observe. An example I used last semester in class is, let's say a gentleman comes into class wearing black boots, black jeans, black shirt, black jacket. He has dyed black hair, black eyeliner, and black fingernail polish. What can we say about this person that's a fact? And in that class I got answers that he was goth or he liked the color black. But can we observe that? No. It's only an inference. We interpret his outfit that he is goth and he likes black. The only fact that we can say in this situation is that he is wearing a lot of black. So we need to generate alternative perceptions. What else could happen? If I ask this student, so why are you wearing all black? Do you like black? Are you goth? He could very easily say, no, I'm in drama class. And right before this class, I was in a skit where I played death. And I didn't have time to change my outfit. That was definitely an alternative perception. Remember the example I said where a student fell asleep in class. I can't just assume that this is a student that doesn't care about his studies. I need to generate alternative perceptions. So I have to think, does this student have a very heavy class load, is under a lot of stress? Did this student work a third shift job? Does this student have children and they were up late at night with a sick child? When you generate alternative perceptions, you become more open-minded. And then finally, you engage in perception checking. I'm going to ask the student, hey, after class, I noticed you've been falling asleep a lot in class. What's going on? How can I help? And then the student might share with me what's going on, and I can find ways to help them. And so more importantly, after you've done all this, revise your perceptions as needed. Be open-minded. Don't be so stuck in your own head that your first impression is what you're going to go with. Once I talk with the student, I'm going to say, wow, this is what's going on. And I'll remain open-minded. If you have any questions about Chapter 4, please email me.